Hi everyone, welcome to episode 28 of Morgan Reach TV, which is now aired on YouTube and all other social media channels. Today I'm very excited to welcome not one but two guests who have just embarked on a new business which is potentially industry changing. John and Sabina are partners in the DeskVal and UPD AI platform, which is taking lenders and loan providers by storm. Sabina Thorpe lives in Manchester and started her career in the corporate world and moved into property over 10 years ago. Sabina grew up around property, so decided at first to step away from it for a while and worked for Shell. She became a senior manager responsible for turning around and rectifying £100 million problems. She then set up a business which scaled and was sold to Betfred Group in 2014, and that's when she re-entered property once more. Whilst in property, she's worked through various roles and became the portfolio director for the Great Property Group in 2016. She then moved into her own business where she's a director at Green Brick Property Limited, specialising in all types of property ventures, building up a large portfolio of commercial and residential properties comprising of HMOs and apartments to rent, as well as regenerating properties including hotels, pubs, offices and large houses. Meet John Penquet, the other half of DeskVal. John began his career also in the corporate world, specialising in food retail and working for a number of household brands. He became an industry expert, travelling across Europe regularly and getting immersed in a lot of data to develop and build a number of food tech innovations. He left the corporate world and began to replace his job security and income utilising property. He has built up a very large portfolio and entered the world of property education, where he's mentored hundreds of other property entrepreneurs. John has purchased, scaled, ran and sold off a large chain of estate agents in Wales and then co-founded DeskVal UPD with Sabina after meeting at various property networking events. John and Sabina are the powerhouse duo behind DeskVal UPD, a cutting-edge PropTech tool that's shaking up how residential property is valued across the UK. Today we'll discuss how their backgrounds in data and property led to launching a game-changing AVM, why AI, automation and live data streams make DeskVal faster and more consistent than traditional methods and has allowed them to obtain PI cover, which has been the key for adoption by major UK lenders to date. The importance of collaboration, trust and shared purpose in building something truly innovative. Their mission to make property investment smarter, fairer and more accessible. The problem is real, the solution is here. We are very lucky to have John and Sabina here today to tell us all about it and to hear how they're trying to revolutionise property purchases and sales for all property across the UK for the better. Definitely an episode you can't miss. So let's get John and Sabina in and let's get started. Hi John.
Hi, Cam, good to see you.
Thanks very much.
Hi Cam, nice to meet you.
Thanks so much guys for coming down today. It's another Friday, so Friday traffic you've had to endure for us. So I appreciate that. So you've come from Swansea.
That's right, yes, yeah. Deepest, darkest Wales.
Yeah, so right up the M5. And,
Yeah.
And so in Manchester, is it?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, was your journey okay today?
It's very good, yeah. Yeah, it was not bad. No rain, which was quite nice.
Yeah,
It was dry today.
Excellent. But no, thank you very much for coming down. It's really good to have you. Your story is absolutely remarkable, so I can't wait to share it with the audience and the viewers. So if I just start off, pretty much roll back to give the kind of listeners a bit of a background to how you've kind of got to where you are. So where were you born? How did it all kind of start? I know you worked from Swansea originally.
No, that's right. I grew up in a council estate in Liverpool and escaped to Wales. Sorry for anyone from Liverpool, wonderful part of the world. But my mum moved us to Wales when I was a young lad, and I've lived there on and off for the best part of 30 years. Yeah, so it's a nice part of the world. It's nice and relaxing.
Do you go back much?
Yeah, I still go back. Still go to Liverpool, yeah. It's great place to visit, but I'm very, very settled in Wales. I like my rural, slow down at the weekend after the razzmatazz of the week.
You get a razzmatazz even in Swansea?
Well, Not so much. Maybe on the motorway.
Yeah. We get motor congestion everywhere in the UK. Yeah. Oh, awesome.
Right,
So,
yeah.
in terms of, so when you, because obviously when you lived in Liverpool, what kind of age? So you moved when you were young?
Yeah, I moved when I was 10,
Okay, so way before,
or 11 years of age. So I did my teenage years in Swansea. Obviously went off further education, uni, and then into corporate world then for me.
Awesome.
So
Where did you go to uni?
I went to Swansea. So
Okay,
local,
lad.
and then I got a job in retail. So I worked in retail for several years. Started off store, progressed and moved my way up to procurement. So I was a buyer,
Awesome.
and then after getting into buying, I learned how to negotiate with data. So that was the start of the love affair with data.
Awesome. But what company were you with?
I worked for a few. So I worked for Lidl when they were initially rolling out. I worked for Summerfield, who are no longer around, but they were at the time. Probably remember
those.
Gateway.
Gateway. Yeah. So
I'm showing my age now, aren't I?
Yeah. I didn't like to say. Part of the quick save transition was happening when I was there. So they just acquired quick save, and then I went to work for Spa. So I was a buyer in Spa.
What happened to Summerfield then? Did they get bought out by someone else?
They ended up in the co-op eventually.
Oh,
they
right,
were in
yeah,
a bit
so
of
they'd have been
a
a co-op,
I was quite young at the time, so I was a store manager, and then I had a regional role, just doing different things around the regions, and then I went to Spa, and I by chance I saw an opportunity in convenience because I always took an interest in data and research. I thought, well, convenience is one of the key growing markets, or was at the time. So I decided to go there, and it was a great move because I got to experience procurement, so I learned to negotiate, and I learned to negotiate with facts and evidence and data, which was sort of started that love affair really with stats and data. There was a machine in the corner of the office, that one of those old printers, a big metal printer with green paper coming out. Do you remember that?
Yeah. With the holes in the side.
Yeah. And I managed to get hold of the data that was going into the machine, and I managed to get that into Excel and started playing with that, and that just started my fascination with data really, and it grew from there and negotiating with it.
Awesome. And then when did you? So how about yourself, Sabina? Where did you start off in Manchester?
Yes,
Where you're from? Yeah.
Born and bred.
Yeah.
Manchester.
Awesome.
Yes, stayed there throughout, and then moved to Newcastle under Lyme for about 17 years for business, and then for the last 3 years, I've just come back to Manchester.
Awesome. That's do you know what, that makes sense now, because when I've obviously met you probably 5-6 years ago.
That's right. Yeah.
And I've got you. I actually had you in my phone. Sabina, Stoke.
Yes, that's right.
So obviously, when you said Manchester, I was always a bit like, what do I do with Stoke?
Yeah.
Like in brackets. So yeah, that makes sense now. So you just moved back 3 years ago.
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome.
Love it. Absolutely love being back.
What was your background then? So how did you kind of start your career?
Come from the corporate world, worked for Shell Global.
Wow.
When I started, they were streamlining the business in the UK. Yeah. So I actually joined right at the right time, really, to be fair. And me being me, I love to see something from A to Z, and then I can tweak things, and I can say, right, okay, do that to make it quicker. Turn this to make it go faster, and I just started speaking to all the IBM consultants, and I was like, how does that work, and why do you do this rather than that? And then I started to learn, and I was like, look, have you thought about doing this, and have you thought about doing that? So I then quickly became one of their testers. And then I was speaking to the director, and I was like, look, there is so much more you could do, and so on. And then I got head hunted to go and sort out a 100 million litre issue in the Nordics, Norway, Denmark, Sweden. So I had to recruit. I recruited about 100 local people train them, set up systems, set up the processes, which they all still use, I believe,
Really?
to this day. Yes,
Wow.
and resolved that issue. And then they said, right, Sabina, you've done such a great job there. Could you please do the same in Turkey, Italy? But at that time, Cam, it started to get a little bit tiring as well, like living out of a suitcase. I mean, but the lifestyle was great. I mean, I got chauffeur driven everywhere, business class flights, staying in 5-star hotels, fine dining, like you name it, Shell would just pay for all that, and it was great.
Yeah.
It was great, you know. But then there come a point where I was traveling on the Monday, but I was coming back on late Friday or Saturday. I wasn't seeing my family at all, and I was like, right, do you know what? Really, enough's enough. Stop at the peak. I took a great package, and I thought, right, what am I going to do now? And I have a stammer, and something that I was really scared about was speaking to people on the phone. So I was like, right, okay, how am I going to conquer this fear? So I set up a call centre.
Oh, wow. Right in there then.
Right in there, Cam, like somebody with a stammer who's scared of speaking to people on the phone. What do? Just get right in there, you know?
Excellent.
And I made, Cam, hundreds of calls every day, and it was grueling. Like, when I look back now, I can laugh at it. But back then, like sometimes it would take me like 10 seconds to even say hello. And somebody would like put the phone down on me thinking that there was nobody there. Yeah. And then sometimes I would stammer over every word, and they would think something was wrong with the telephone line, hang up on me. And I was like, it's not the telephone line, it's me, I'm thinking. But anyway, I just persevered, conquered that fear, and then I trained up people, staff, brought in a team, trained them, and then really again with the brain I have, how can I tweak it to make it better? I was like, what can I do? Because I was selling financial services, and to do that, you need to gain the trust. I was like, how can I gain that trust? And so I started taking that door to door, started knocking on doors, started speaking to shopkeepers. Anybody that would stand there for 2 minutes, I would just sell to. And 100% conversion rate, signed up every single person, set up a great, solid client base, bought 2 other businesses, and then I sold the whole finance business then to Betfred.
Wow.
Then I started in property.
Awesome.
From there,
when
met John.
When did you do that sale? When did that occur?
About 2014.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
So then, and that was, were you living in Manchester at the time then?
No,
was that when you were in Stoke?
Newcastle,
Yeah, Newcastle upon Tyne. So, okay, so you sold that all to Betfred?
Correct, yes.
And that was, so it was all financial products? Or
yes, correct,
What was that, a brokerage or?
Helping people in debt.
Oh, so like, debt help and debt.
Yes, debt management.
Or, debt management. Wow, okay, and Betfred bought that?
Yes.
Awesome. So then after that, so you're both at a stage now where you kind of come to the end of the corporate
world,
Well, I had a bit more. I kept going, so unfortunately, or fortunately, actually, I really enjoyed it, Cam. To be honest,
the jet set lifestyle.
Yeah, to a point.
But was our car okay, Jay? I know you both used to,
I don't know.
The chauffeur was okay.
Was he all right? Yeah, that's all right. That's good to hear.
It was absolutely fab. Similar to Sabina, I eventually went and worked for a multinational. I ended up heading up their insights and market intelligence for the whole of Europe.
Wow.
For the food industry. And I had clients like Coke and Unilever and Heineken and people like that. And so there was a lot of travel involved. And although I think you probably could relate to this, Sabina, it's great for a while, but then when you've got family and when you're married and when you want to go home and you spend some time with friends and family, and it just didn't lend itself to that type of lifestyle. And
Diary's always full. You always got appointments.
Children, you know, dad's on the phone rather than dad's at the dinner table. So it was difficult towards the end, and I found property. So property was one of the things that I saw initially as a means to insure against anything that might happen, losing job, economic turmoil, those sorts of things.
So did you start property? Did you start building up the property while you were still working?
I did, yeah. So I, by accident really. I'd done a little bit in the early 2000s, and then from about 2010 onwards, I had some surplus income from work. I was quite frugal with how I lived my life, so I just thought, well, let's do something a bit more interesting, putting it in a savings account. So I decided to go into property at that point, and very simple buy-to-lets, and that was the start of the love affair with property.
So was the property in Wales or around the UK at that point?
At that point, it was just in Wales. So
Okay.
I just wanted to get back into property. We just had 2008 financial crash. I felt that there were good deals in the property market at that time, so it's something that I took an interest in. And really, I just wanted a bit of security, just to appease my own sort of concerns and plans for the future. And I really got into it. I really got quite excited, but I also got quite shocked at some of the practices, the lack of information, and the fact that, you know, people were making decisions on, you know, 6, 7, 8-figure deals with less data than I was providing for £6 or £7 products that were sat on the shelves of supermarkets. It was really odd. And so I started to try and take my knowledge and experience that I'd learned in the insights industry and the data industry, guiding big brands and big businesses, and start applying that to property. And that journey started back then, and it continues to this day.
Brilliant. So when you left corporate, and I'm guessing Betfred, when you sold that company, is that when you started investing in property quite heavily?
Yes.
And was that all you did at that point?
Yes, that's all I did.
Yeah. Where were you? UK wide or just
No,
Manchester?
just in Newcastle, and then in Manchester as well.
Awesome. And you both like residential, commercial? Is it a big mix or?
I do both. So
Okay.
I'm involved. I've also dabbled in HMOs and some land deals and things, all of the fun stuff. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, same as well.
Across the board?
Yeah. So I've got HMOs, multi-unit blocks, Airbnb.
Really?
I haven't done Airbnb.
Single lets, yeah.
I haven't done that. You have to
Not
train
yet,
me. You have to train me on that.
You still actively involved in quite heavily in your own stuff?
Absolutely,
trading some at the moment.
How do you do the HMOs and Airbnbs? Is like management company led?
Yes.
Yeah, so you
Yeah,
hand
because
them,
I
so
can't
you've
do
got
the
So
data.
I had a slightly different journey. I when I left corporate, I was keen to try different things, shall we say. I thought, wow, gosh, I can do whatever I want now.
Yeah.
So I set up an estate agency. That was something that I really found challenging, I'll be honest. Wasn't my cup of tea, should we say.
Why was that? Was it just because
it was a bit of a culture shock, managing people and managing. Whereas corporate world was very different, and I guess there was, it was more. It was less hands-on. It was more strategic, and then I was unlocking the doors, and who's got Henry the Hoover to push around the office at the end of the night and consideration like that. But it was it was great fun.
To roll your sleeves up.
Yeah. I don't mind that. I didn't mind that,
Yeah.
but it was just sort of encouraging everybody else to do it. And I found that I was getting frustrated in that role because I could see what people needed, and I could see what I was doing and our industry was doing for those people, and I thought there was a big chasm between the two. So I was really, although I was using data and stats to invest in property and doing well with that, I wasn't able to pass that on to my clients, landlords, property investors. So it was really a really frustrating time for me.
Was like the whole process, like the whole, you buy a property, all the kind of pain you have to go through to buy a property.
Yeah, and even just finding, I'd see a lot of investors would come to my agency and they'd be trying to invest in properties, and I'd think, why on earth do you want to do that? That's a terrible decision. That's not a good financial or strategic, but they'd done their training, they'd had this idea, and they were going to do it. And I was sat on, because of the data side, I was sat on so much data, and I actually fell into this educational role where I was actually sharing the information but not getting paid for it.
Yeah.
So I had to make a tough decision. I decided to sell my estate agency. But in order to sell it, I needed to buy more so I could merge them together and then sell them on to get a reasonable return on my investment.
Okay.
So I then went through a period of acquiring other estate agencies, merging them, making them operational.
Just for the sake of making it sizable.
Volume, package it up, and then sell on. So that was alongside the burning desire to start helping property professionals with better provisioned data, because most people back then would look at Rightmove and they would look at the land registry sold prices. And what's really bizarre is today, for a lot of people, it's still the same. Yeah, and I wanted to try and break that chain and show people a better way.
Because it's so, being involved in property a lot myself as well, I completely understand where you're coming from. The whole process in the UK, it's bloody painful, isn't it?
I'll say.
Across the board.
If you explain it to someone who's not active in property, the puzzlement, no, it can't be.
No,
really? It's really like that?
You get all that stuff,
yeah. But yeah, you know, it started off as a hobby and it just grew, and that hobby and that experience brought me in touch with people like Sabina. You know,
that was going to be my next kind of question. So you led me into that nicely. How did you meet?
So I met John when I first started in property. He was the only person that was talking about data. I was like, this guy has something that nobody else has, and I was like, I need to know more. Kept in touch with John. I think you were doing courses back at that time.
So where
as
did
well.
you see that? Were you like doing online stuff and then?
I was partnering with some training
Face-to-face.
providers, and I was
brilliant.
doing online things, and really just trying to. Initially, what I wanted people to see was the importance of, if you're going to buy something, is there demand for it? Because if there's no demand for it, then you're probably going to find it quite difficult to monetize it, get cash flow from it, see asset appreciation. So helping people to understand demand and demand metrics, and I think that's the course that I was doing. And Sabina being Sabina, you know, I want to do it, and I want to do it the best I can possibly do it, and it's going to be tenacity and determination to deliver the best product. I think you came to one of the first ones that we did, and we hit it off in terms of chatting to one another and getting to know one another.
We're opposite, but we learn so much off each other. It's amazing. I love it.
Well, you say that, but you know, you can see similarities. You both gone through kind of a corporate journey. You both got this level of professionalism, which kind of comes from that. So then, going into property, you've probably got similar outlooks, really.
Yeah.
I mean, there
was a little gap, wasn't there? We met, and then we met again, didn't we?
Yeah, so we lost touch. I still kind of saw John on the circuit, and I was like, you know, he's still there, he's still talking about data, it's great. But the thing, and then I met John again. I went to a black tie event. So, I really don't want to go. You know, where there's that point where you're like, you've just done so many, and that week I was absolutely shattered. I was exhausted. I was working very like, do I really want to go? But something said you need to go. I was like, all right, okay, do you know what? And plus, I actually don't like to let people down as well. So if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. So I was like, exactly, yes. I was like, yes, Cam, I'll be there. And went, reconnected with John again, stood there, like, who above all people you actually stand next to, John. And I was like, oh, John, you know, how are you? And we got talking about where we are, what we're doing. And John told me about this amazing product he's built. But he's like, the only thing is, though, I can't get through to the banks, the lenders. I can't get through the door. I was like, John, that's my super power. I love doing that. You tell me, outreach. I love it, Cam. Like, you tell me who is it you want to speak to. I will actually bring them to your table. He's like, no, you're not going to really. I was like, yeah, John. Do you know what? Right, let's actually see what we can do together. Like, I can't do what I do without what
the
John's
product package,
built.
yeah,
I mean, it
that's
is
it.
just on another
Because
level.
because obviously I know it, so I'm quite
Yes.
familiar with it. But I think we've skipped a bit.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what is this? You know, this new, because you know it's really exciting. I
Yeah.
really love it, and I think it's going to be a game changer. But because you just kind of tell the audience viewers
Yeah.
what it is that you've built.
So back to that
The data.
original
Yeah.
challenge that I had. Why are people looking at land registry and a website to try and work out how to invest in a
Hundreds of
multi-million
thousands of
pound
pounds,
deal?
yeah, yeah.
Or even even if it's it might only be £80,000, but that might be
Yeah.
your life savings. That could be your kid's school fund or college fund. So couldn't understand it. So I started tracking new forms of information, new forms of data in property, things that weren't publicly available. And I started collecting it initially for myself, then for people that I worked closely with, landlords, for example, through the agency, and other people that I met on my journey. And we started investing using some of the research that I'd done. And we did really well. We did really, really well. We'd bought, people always say, buy the curve, buy that growth curve, buy at the start of a growth curve. Well, that's what we learned to do.
You calculate it.
Yeah, we have a complex set of data with an awful lot of statistical analyses on top to give us an indication of where is potentially a good or a bad area, an up-and-coming area. So rather than having to look for cranes in the sky or new infrastructure, we just found locations through data, not actually physically going there. And that worked. So then the excitement then was, well, let's turn this into a product. 'Cause there's a limit to how many people I can teach. And also, there's a limit to my teaching ability. It's that big. I'm not the world's best educator. So we started to work to create a product. So that product was created and launched and made available to property investors. And at the same time, because we had that demand and we had that ability to forecast what's going to happen next, we were also able to value into the future as well. So one of the big changes for us, and one of the big things that Sabina's been pushing incredibly well, is getting the industry to understand that there is a way for us to value properties that doesn't have the requirement to send someone out to have someone get a clipboard and do some calculations, or just do a really basic sort of comparison. What we can do is we can take thousands and thousands of data points that we've collected and build from the ground up a valuation model that works. Now, most people don't believe that that's possible in the property industry. I'm sure you've encountered some of that over the... No, we need the person with the clipboard to go in and tell us how much it's worth.
The way it's done.
And then eventually, when you invest in property, you get to know and you think, well, hang on, there's somebody coming in valuing this property that doesn't know what I'm doing, probably doesn't know as much as me. Dare I say it, or you, or you?
Because you've done it, or
you're the expert.
Researching it for like last year, or
So you send a less qualified expert to score the expert's homework. It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So that's what DeskVal is that we create. So we have Ultimate Property Dashboard, a UPD product in there is for property investors to use to find properties and to assess them across the piece. And then we got DeskVal, which values properties and values and provides future forecasts for values of properties. And over the past 12 months, Sabina, you must have opened nearly 100 doors. Most of those doors have welcomed us in, and we're now heavily involved with banks, with bridging companies, with financial companies, and also on the investment side as well with investors. So we've got everything from someone who's just done a course and is buying their first property to maybe flip or to rent out, right the way through to sort of large institutions that are buying up streets and blocks and towns and all sorts of exciting things like that. So that's how it came about.
No, and I think it's remarkable because obviously I've got property experience. It was just some of the stories that you're saying. I did a care home, conversion of a residential home got a few uses for it, changed it to a care home. And then I remember the guy, I won't mention the bank's name, but the guy came out, I paid 3,600 quid for the valuation because it's commercial. Yeah. Paid up front. Yeah. The guy comes out, walks around the property for an hour, came and got his ladders out the car, because he's going to stick it in the attic, whatever difference that's going to make.
None.
Then, a hole in the roof or anything, but it hasn't got a hole in the roof. And then he came and got his measuring tape and he got his laser thing. So he's kept coming back in and out of his car. 1 hour later, comes out and goes, yeah, it's great. How much were you looking for? I said, I'll just call it $1 million.
Yeah.
And he said, because that would work. And he said, yeah, I can put that down, that's fine. And he came out at 998.
Wow.
And he's like, oh,
what a great calculation.
Yeah, exactly. Because there was nothing around the area to compare to. I understood why his hesitation was there, but it was, he didn't know the town.
Yeah.
I know the town intimately. I know everything about it. So he didn't. He came from like an external panel valuer.
And this is the problem. I mean, look, I don't want to take anything away from what surveyors and valuers do. That is an incredibly difficult job.
Very difficult job.
Because they're putting their whole career on the line every time they do a valuation.
On a PI, yeah, exactly.
And they might get it wrong. So, and they're so restricted in the information that they can use and comparables that they can use. Now, we've got 6 years of back data. I've got every single property. I've got metrics and measures and attributes that just aren't publicly available. Now, I can't process that, I can't do that personally. I need technology and systems to do it. These people who are doing the valuation, they literally don't have a fraction of that capability, and yet we're asking them to do it. So, so the industry really needs change, and with the birth of AI and the developments in recent times, the ability for us to process that data has just grown exponentially. So what I used to be able to do city by city, town by town, we can now do everywhere for everything, and we can do it in real time. So that's been a massive game changer. It's what's enabled us to do our valuations. That's what's enabled us to speak to banks, financial institutions, and actually change their perspective, because most banks think that it needs to be the person, the individual, going with the clipboard and doing it, and the more progressive elements of that industry are now looking to AI, they're now looking to big data, they're looking to statistical models.
Speed it up, isn't it? Make it more efficient.
They want to do more business.
Yeah.
Big data is an overused term at the moment, but actually for the property industry, it's what we need. It's desperate for it, and I know, Sabina, you've seen that with your conversations with many of the banks, haven't you? Yes,
the banks, the financial institute, they are ready now for AI data. They are looking to actually embrace that now. Whereas pre-COVID, 5 years really ago, it was a bit like, no, computer says no, like this is the way we've done it. Why? Because this is just the way that we've always done it. Whereas now, I think with AI, what John said, they're now looking to actually adapt that. How can we improve what we are doing right now?
Yeah, exactly. Because during COVID, you touched upon that. It was, even my wife's industry, teaching industry for kids. No one wanted Zoom.
Absolutely.
No one wanted digital meetings. It was all face to face, face to face. And since then, she hasn't gone back to face to face. It's just the adoption, people's acceptance of it, and seeing how it works. So I think you can't, because with business, will you agree? I think I've heard so many people say it, but it is all about timing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 100%.
You can come up with the best idea, just be too early or too late.
Yeah. I mean,
it falls on its backside.
The COVID woke people up to the importance of data. I mean, there was a bit of a change where people would start to use automated valuation models, AVMs.
Yeah.
So that became, rather than being a fringe idea, that became more mainstream through COVID, because we couldn't get surveyors out to properties, and that's gradually grown since then into becoming an accepted norm. I don't think it would have happened if it wasn't for COVID. But there's the AI and the data side of things now. There's that expectation in the market for something to come and disrupt, and I think that's certainly what we've been hearing.
Absolutely. When you talk about AVM, it's quite an interesting point. But for something that, if you were to do an AVM, so automated valuation, would you find that the lender would be a little bit more, how can I put it, like go on the safe side, so you as a borrower could get penalised with an AVM, or the bank could be at more risk with an AVM?
The banks want to actually provide more money. the property investors that I've met assume that the banks are being cautious and won't give them the money and don't want to.
Exactly.
But the reality is, they've got sat on loads of money that they need to deploy. They want this industry and this space to grow. Politicians want more building. People want more building. Charities want more building. Business wants more building. Everybody wants it, but we seem to put barriers in the way. And I think one of those barriers has been valuations, that reluctance and that fear. So, during COVID, everyone thought the property market was going to collapse. Now, we were sat on data, weren't we? Mm-hmm. It was never going to. We knew it wasn't going to collapse, but we didn't have the voice at that time to be able to say that. At that time, lots of people made lots of money by investing, and lots of people didn't make any money at all because they held back or didn't invest. It's going to crash, and we've had that for 5 years, and that's the part that is starting to change. The old ways, they clearly don't work. Yeah. They're not delivering what the industry needs, and you could probably talk more about the banks, Sabina, and what they're doing.
In ours, because it's something my father said to me, and it's something I looked into afterwards, but the kind of property market, how we know it in our lifetimes, the fact that property goes up in value, actually appreciates in value, is relatively new situation since like the 70s.
Yeah.
Before that, it was relatively stagnant.
We turned in the 1970s and the 80s. We turned property into a commodity.
Yeah.
It wasn't before that. I appreciate I won't necessarily always make friends when I say this, but that needed to happen because we need commerce and we need industry to drive standards and to drive growth, and that need for growth. I mean, sat here today, we haven't got a few 100,000 properties short in this country. We haven't got about 1 million. We are millions of properties short in this country. That's the reason why the market is so difficult for so many people to enter into. And then at the same time, we penalise new entrants into that market, make it exceptionally difficult for them to enter, and make it much easier for people that are already in that market. So the trading element of property is fine, and it's working well, but the supply is an issue, and the access to the people who need it the most is an issue. So if we can resolve that, then that no one's going to lose. That's a benefit. That I believe that's not going to come through legislation. I believe that's going to come through innovation, and I think it takes people like us and others in our industry to show the way and to lead the way. So let's go away from opinion, which is predominantly what valuations and market insights in property are based on at the moment, and move it into statistics and data. Because look at the industries that have been absolutely transformed by data and by insights. The food industry, we've got some of the, food is not a problem in this country, and we've got some of the lowest, and there's been turmoil recently, but some of the lowest food prices, some of the best experiences, some of the greatest manufacturers and brand owners in this country, because we've embraced data. And it's the same with other industries, but property is, in my view, underserved. Yeah, and we seek to change that.
And there's big legislation. It needs an overhaul, doesn't it? They've been saying it for years.
A best example I can give is we had a recent announcement that we were going to build 1.5 million new homes, but that doesn't keep up with the growth in the population for the country. So if you take the same data in terms of population growth, it doesn't even keep us where we are at the moment. Right, yeah. The other problem that we've got is that we're building the wrong types of properties. So the assumption is we need more affordable homes. But if you look at the statistics and you look at the modelling that we do, actually, the problem is people getting stuck in properties and not being able to climb the ladder. So there isn't, in terms of...
Mid-market.
The mid-market's it. Yeah. 3-bedroom properties, 2-bedroom starter homes, not 1-bedroom apartments are great and they're fantastic, and for certain people and certain demographics, they are all we need. And in certain parts of the UK, that's all we need. But there are many parts of the UK where there's a completely different market.
I've always found they're like a temp stepping stone property. They're annoying because they turn over a lot.
And it's ideology versus insight. So the ideology is people need cheap, affordable homes. Well, yeah, but people also need not so cheap but still affordable homes that suit their needs. And nobody's ever done a needs analysis. So my home, my city where I'm based in Wales, we've seen lots and lots of developments, and a lot of them are empty. A lot of them are struggling to sell. A lot of them have had to fall in value, or have seen a drop in value. And yet, if a different type of property was built, then they would surge in value. There'd be huge demand for them. It would be better for the local economy as well, because people can't get to the city, they can't live in the city. So all those nuances are true everywhere in the UK, and probably across many parts of the world. And the great thing about big data and AI is it gives us the tools now, not just to guess our way to a solution or fail our way to a solution. It actually gives us the insight to do it. And I think that's the really exciting thing for our business and what we're doing. So the start for us is value and understanding the values of properties and speeding up that process. So rather than it being a 4 or 5 month process to buy a property, it could potentially be a 4 or 5 day process. That's where we want to get to as an industry, and I'm pretty sure we will get there. From a valuation perspective, that can be weeks and it can be full of human error. We get to seconds and we eliminate the human error. And I think that's the big excitement for us all in the UK, in the UK property industry, is that the whole industry is crying out for it. You know, from the person who can't get a home, who can't get their first set of keys for their start home, right the way through to the person who's just landed a new job, the tech job somewhere else in the country, and they cannot get the property that they require. The statistics, the data, the insights, the products that we've got on UPD, the products we've got on Desval solve that problem. And the really exciting thing for us is the number of conversations we're now having with lenders who are moving into that space, and financial institutions that are saying, yeah, there's a better way here.
So on your platform, there's 2 areas, isn't there? So you've got the one area which is more commercial, so it's for the banks and all
Yes.
those guys. So that's called Desval.
Yes, yeah.
.ai.
Yeah, Desval.ai, AVM product, and we provide instant valuations.
For financial institutions.
We can do that for investors and
As
individuals
well,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah, it's a new thing. Our big focus is and continues to be aligning what we do with the financial industry, giving them the confidence that it satisfies Basel III legislation and ISO 9001, all those.
Because the Basel III thing is quite a big thing, isn't it? It's a big change because not everyone would know. So could you explain that? What's coming, or has it come already?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah. So Basel III requires all of the larger lenders with regulated mortgages to value their stock, so to revalue those properties on a quarterly basis.
Wow.
To ensure that we don't have another 2008 collapse.
Yeah.
So they're not over leveraged. There's enough reserve. There's no bad debt.
Flags will go up in case they do.
But if we step back from that requirement, how does a bank do that?
Yeah, physically do it without spending.
There aren't enough valuers
Yeah.
in the country to do it. So that's a big question that hopefully we can answer with our processes and our data. And we've been through, it's not a quick journey, this one. We've been through a significant amount of testing. So initially we tested our product with property investors and property professionals, 2 years, taking all of the data, benchmarking, and then we've been on the journey for the last 12 months, collaborating and partnering and getting that benchmarking done. And one of the results of that, we're the only valuation company, the only automated valuation company that has PI cover, and that's opened a lot of doors to a number of banks. Some again aren't aware of or aren't sure if that's even possible, and we're doing our best to prove that it is and show them that.
We're a data business. We can value every asset class: residential, HMOs, multi-unit blocks, new build, semi-commercial, you name it. We can value that, and then we've got the PI backed as well. Yes. Yeah.
And is it right, because obviously you've been kind enough to give myself a tour and I've been through the system on the demos, but the thing I liked was you can add in all the attributes and stuff.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, so we can give you the value today, what it stands, and then we can also give you the GDV really as well. So for example, afterwards as well. Yeah. So for example, if you say, right, okay, I am looking to convert this into a 10-bed HMO, you can type in 10 bed. I'm going to do this many en suites, this many this many reception rooms, the garden, the parking, cycle storage, loft space, Japanese knotweed, tenant in situ. Like, this is how granular level data we have. Yes.
For every property that we do a valuation on, it can be valued 13,700 different values depending on what you select. Wow. And
crazy, isn't
even
it?
things like, you know, does the apartment have a balcony or not? Does the HMO, as Sabina mentioned, have parking or not? But even unusual things, you know, have we got underfloor heating in the kitchen? Have we got a good EPC rating? All of those affect value. None of those have been catered for today in valuation models and data platforms. We do. So whilst I'm sure many people will have experienced an automated valuation in the past, what we have to, it's very difficult for us to get across is it's not the same, because everything that we do is based upon the granularity and the attributes. So you may have two identical properties next to one another. One's got a garage, a 3-bedroom semi on one side, and the other one on the other side has got a garage. What's the difference in value? Well, that'll be completely different in, I don't know, Stoke-on-Trent compared to Mayfair in London compared to Swansea in Wales. So we know that, we track that every single day, and we've measured it. So we can give that value specific to area, specific to location. And that means that even on the same street, you can have two totally different valuations just for basic changes in the property makeup. And that's, I think that's possibly the bit that we have a journey to go on and a challenge to educate the industry and understand that that's now possible. It's not what we would like to have, it's what we do, and that'll continue to grow.
Fantastic. And there is the other element of it, isn't it? So people like myself, like interested in property developments and stuff. You mentioned about the adding on attributes for the GDV change. How can someone utilise your system? You mentioned UPD, so it's another website.
Yeah, so if upd.ai, you can register to access our platform. That gives insights into heat maps for areas, areas of high demand, areas of low demand as well. It gives you indications of where property values are increasing or decreasing in real time. It gives you the gap between what properties are asked for, asking prices are being demanded, and what properties are selling for. Yeah. And even an AI plugin, it's probably the least used part of the product, but probably one of the best ones. It'll read every advert and give you a short list of potential properties. So you might be looking for properties that need a refurbishment, that have been on the market for more than 60 days, and I don't know, maybe there's planning gain. There's so many different ways, and it'll just automatically find it for you. So it's almost like an agent, it is an AI agent for you. Yeah, so I used to be on the sofa looking for properties every evening, and now I get up in the morning and I make the kids breakfast, and I just look at my phone and there are 5 properties. Out of that, tens of thousands of properties, there are 5 that I need to look at, and that's my day.
Like, you can set an alert for it?
Yeah, you don't even need to log in. It'll just tell you, send you a message.
Sends you an email or something?
Yeah, you can have an email. You set up an email notification. That's what I do. I'm a bit old-fashioned, so once a day I like to have my email, and it just has my short list, and I can just tap on the links and it takes me to wherever they're listed. And that includes commercial, it includes land. If you're looking for a buy-to-let, if you're looking for an HMO, and it can overcome all of the challenges like, is it Article 4, is it not, and all of the things. Wow. It just does all of that for us.
Motivated sellers as well.
Yeah, properties that sales have fallen through, everything really. But on that's one part of the equation. The other part is that area performing well, and the critical bit. The critical bit for us is, and this is what we've just started rolling out, is what's it worth? What's the value? So we've linked the valuation to that search. So our vision for the next 12 months is to actually provide that one version of the truth. So if you think it's worth, let's pick a number, £200,000, you haven't got that £3,000 or £1,000 valuation risk that it may not come in. You actually know exactly what it's worth using DeskVal, which is plugged into UPD. And that valuation is the same valuation that several or dozens of banks will be using to value that property as well. So the breakdown in the property being undervalued or coming back to zero value should be eliminated. So the winners are yourself as a property investor, because you know you've got a line of credit, but also the winners are the banks and the lenders as well, because they want to give you the money, but they don't know if it's worth what you say it's worth. Now we've got one version of the truth, and that's the piece that's being rolled out right now. So yeah, plug alert, upd.ai to access that technology, and it's fresh. It's literally that only went live this month, so it's available to people to try if they want to. But no sales pitch, sorry.
A little bit, and then to take that step a little bit further as well, we can connect property developers to lending really as well. So, for example, when they're searching for a deal, when they're stacking that deal, they can just click yes, I'd like a quote, and they can be told you are 90% sure to get lending from A, B, and C, and then they get to choose the lender, the terms, etc. We will be the one-stop shop for developers and also for the lending space as well.
It's back to that vision. Let's just, you can go into a car dealership, sorry Cam, and you can walk out the same day with a car, but you go into the estate agents and you walk out, and that might be 6 months. It might be 3 months. The best we can do is 30 days, and that's really pushing it.
That's an auction like high pressure.
Yeah. Let's get that right down.
Do you know, you were talking about that before. Something like you said, like really playing on my mind. But for the food industry, to put pack of fish fingers in a fridge, you'll do so much research. You'll go through everything. And obviously, you're talking big numbers, but the actual retail price is very low. And the consumer choice.
And the risk is low as well. It's fish fingers. Doesn't matter.
But like, I've got a colleague of mine who was buying a property from an auction house 2 weeks ago, and he's buying it. He's moving forward with it like rapidly. He's got 28 days to complete.
Yeah.
And he's done it. It's 150 grand.
It's a lot of money.
He's done it like, I'm gonna have to trust it because he hasn't got time. He hasn't got time to a server. He hasn't got the data.
Yeah.
But we're doing this.
Yeah.
It sounds about right. It looks about right. Do you know what? And he's asking us everyone for his opinion.
But here's the irony is that the check for that is exactly the same.
When
someone comes out and does that check, is it worth this? They're pretty much doing the same thing.
Yeah.
None of us really know. Even
It's
government,
best guess,
Bank of England,
Yeah.
COVID, the property market's going to fall up to 16%. 3 months later, it had grown 10.
Yeah, because people are bored and they were just like looking at property and just like doing stuff.
It has to change. I think is where we're at with it. It has to change, and if we can play our part in that, then that would be fantastic. It's been a labour of love for a very long time, and I think it's really exciting now to see the technology catch up with the desire to do these sorts of things.
From both sides of the table, isn't it? The banks and the consumers.
Yeah.
No, it's been absolutely remarkable because I've had the insight to obviously see the system and have a little play around as well, and it is very good. So I'm quite excited to see what the future brings and how fast it grows.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah,
fingers crossed.
Best of luck, guys.
It's going to grow quick. Thank you very much.
It's awesome.
And hopefully we can have a chat about your portfolio and putting that through the system and growing it too. So
I have to grow it again now after recent events, but it's going to be.
It's a good time for a lot, but there's a lot of risk in the market as well. So it's having
producer is going to use the software that I've seen.
Briefed you well.
Yeah, exactly. So thank you so much.
No, thank you, Ken.
You found that useful, and I hope it's useful for the audience as well. I'm sure it will be. We'll put the links for your product on the bottom of the podcast so people can have a look. But best of luck, and I think we're going to be seeing you again, and you'll be at a different stage of the business.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Cam.
Thanks, John.
Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Cam. Thank you.